Today's a very special day because today we have one of the most successful. So he's one of the youngest and most successful business owners in the world. And I don't say that lightly, right? If you are familiar with me, you understand that I've worked for one of the top consulting firms in the world. I've gotten to advise governments. I got an Ivy League MBA, but all that stuff doesn't matter as much as a conversation that I want to have with you all to help you grow your business. So when I say we've got one of the most youngest and most successful business owners in the world, think about it. Most businesses fail in the first 1 to 5 years. Most never crack six figures. And we've got someone here who is able to implement the system that we teach to consistently break past whatever you thought the glass ceiling was and have the success that you may desire for yourself. So Mario, creator of Creator Consulting, owner of Creator Consulting, it's lovely to have you, man. How are you today?
Thank you so much, man. I'm having a great day, right? I just finished a long, hard day of strenuous work, right? But it's all in a day's work, still following the vision and still implementing it and becoming one of the best. That's all I can hope for. Thank you so much for the intro.
No, absolutely, man. So we're not going to take people's entire day. I know some podcasts and some interviews take like 3 hours to watch. This isn't going to be one of those.
Yeah.
Because if you don't mind, I'd like to kind of jump into your backstory just a bit because first of all, most people never get to six figures in a corporate job and most can never transition that into six figures in a business. So can you just give people the backstory of how you got from like, how did you get to six figures in corporate and then why'd you leave? What was the reason that you actually left? Because that seems like comfort for most folks.
Yeah, for sure, man. So I told this story like very frequently and especially I think your audience in particular with all the people that you're servicing are really going to resonate with it, right? Because for me, I landed a six-figure corporate role when I was 21 years old. At the moment, I'm 22, right? But in the span of 20 years old to 21, I was working at believe it or not, a fast food chain, right? A very popular one down here in Texas called Whataburger. If you guys have heard about it, you might have heard about it. But anyways, I can frankly boil it down to the grace of God, and I was at the right place at the right time, and I worked extremely hard, right? A lot of hours, and I got to the position where in 2 years flat, just about, I became director of operations, managing multiple different restaurants here in my state. I'm here from this in the States, by the way. So, managing a total of 30 at the height 45 locations in total, right? So that was my six-figure role. That was my intro to making that 10K per month that a lot of people earn for, right? So one of the things that hit me and that struck me so coming from my background specifically, where basically nobody in my family had ever hit six figures at all, like in a year, right? They were basically chanting me over, right? Like, you made it, you made it, you made it.
Yeah.
But then what I did is I don't know if this was a bad thing or a good thing, but I started immersing myself in the online space, seeing young people be millionaires and etc. And I was over here like, why is everybody around me telling me I made it when I'm 21 years old and I'm just making six figures, right? Best case scenario, in a couple of years, and by a couple I mean 20, 30, 40, 50 plus years, I'll be in a state where I'm maybe making 300K, right, a year, right? Keep in mind that's not bad money, right? But it would just became extremely depressing for me. So what I did was I decided to reinvest, right? Any program that would come across my site, I would buy, right? Any mentorship, I would buy. I thought that I could buy my way to the top of another industry, right? Which I know now is like, okay, yes, buying and everything, investing is very, very good. But those skills, like, you have to go through with them, right? Just how I went from flipping burgers and learning that to now learning how to set an appointment, right? It all correlates, right? So you can invest heavily, but at the end of the day, you still have to put in the work. And I was expecting to throw 20, 30,000, $40,000 into programs and stuff and just come out with a six-figure business. Right.
Okay. So if I can stop you just really quickly.
Yeah, for sure.
Because a lot of the folks watching, right, a lot of the viewers may not really know what you mean by saying, hey, going from learning how to flip burgers, which everybody understands, to going how to learn to set appointments. Why would you need to set appointments? Of course, we've got a client attraction business. If they're on this channel, they should be in some way familiar. But for the folks who aren't, what do you mean? Why are you setting appointments?
Yeah, what I mean by appointments is that's the way money moves in the online market, right? Everything, unfortunately, for better or for worse, is moved through Zoom, right? Through appointments, through Google Meets, whatever it be, right? So the art of setting appointments, the art of getting somebody to hop on a call with you that is a complete stranger, right? The act of attracting people to getting just literally spending time with you
Yep.
is literally, I guess you could say, it's one of the best art forms there is in the online space.
Yep.
Right? It's what moves, you know? And that, I guess that's what I mean. Attracting clients to you, right? Nurturing them to the point where they actually invest back into you, even if it is time,
Yep.
right? Because once they invest the time, then they're willing to invest the next step, which is obviously
Okay.
money.
And so, Mario, I mean, first of all, I appreciate the breakdown for, again, the folks who are not yet familiar. And if you're just joining, make sure you watch the entire interview, because this is actually the info that you're going to need. We're actually going to start to jump into some of the details. So if you want to grow a business in the online space or in the actual service business space in real life, whether it's a concrete business or a coaching or consulting business, what we're going to talk about is actually going to be relevant to you. But Mario, talk to us a bit about why it might not just be okay to have six figures. Like, is your life the same when you're making six figures corporate versus when you're able to generate 10, 20, 30, 40, 50, $60,000 per month in your own business? What's different, and why might you want to shoot for a little bit more?
Yeah. So the biggest difference that I found is that even if you're making six figures in a corporate role, is that it's a very entrepreneurial role,
Mm-hmm.
right? Meaning you're already doing the long, strenuous hours. It might be a salary pay, but we all know the underlying tones, where it's just like you're gonna have to work longer than everybody else if you want to
Yep.
keep this position.
Yep.
Right. And so for me now, the whole difference is there's a whole art form to it, where now you might be working long hours if you choose to,
Mm-hmm.
right? But it's correlated to your income, right? When you try to climb a corporate ladder, maybe you graduate, like you said, for example, with your MBA degree,
Mm-hmm.
it's a very tough position to be in, because you're battling against a lot of people. And here you're battling against a lot of people as well.
Yep.
Right. But it's just a lot easier. And at the end of the day, it's your own doing. Right.
Yep.
You
Yep.
reap what you sow.
Yep. Okay. And so let's talk as we kind of set the frame for the folks who are watching. When we think about the client acquisition business, right? Is it limited to just like, okay, if you've got a Facebook ads agency or a short form content agency, or like, let them know? Because of course I've been explaining it. I can explain it to them doing the Facebook. Sometimes they've got to hear it from someone else, right?
Yeah. Yeah.
What are the different types of business where a client acquisition system actually works?
Right. So I would say the main thing is that any online business, literally any online business, benefits from client acquisition systems, right? And I know it's a fancy word to throw out there. Those two words combined together is
Yep.
something that a lot of people have a big misconception on.
Yep.
But basically, it's a way of capturing attention, nurturing the people, and getting them to become your clients. Right.
Yep.
That's what we mean by client acquisition system. That's why it's not lead acquisition, which is what a lot of people focus on.
Mm-hmm.
Right. No, not focusing on the lead part, but like literally becoming a client. So client acquisition. Right.
Absolutely.
And it's beneficial for everybody, because everybody needs more clients. Everybody needs a form of gathering attention. Right. And that's what people like me and you provide. Right. We provide people with the avenues to get that attention, and not just get leads, because at the end of the day, we don't want leads, we want clients.
Yep.
Right.
So you said something really important there, which is you want to talk about the actual journey from being just a lead to actually being a client. And in that journey, right there in the middle is, I won't say it's our favorite part, because obviously our favorite part is helping people and helping them grow their businesses. But I will say we're not in this business for it to be a nonprofit. So the part between lead and client is the actual payment part. And what people don't understand is people are not going to pay you if you treat them like someone who doesn't matter at all. If you essentially say, hey, fill out my lead form, go to my funnel, right? Because of course we've all heard of funnels, and a lot of people that are online are tired of being put in funnels, and then pay for my $10,000 course, but you never get to talk to me, and best of luck. I hope you win, right? It seems like over the past, let's say 3 to 5 to maybe even 7 years, buyers online have gotten smart, because let's say 2014, 15, 16, people were willing to go through the funnel, watch the video, click and pay a lot of money. Help the viewers understand what might have changed and why being a part of the business where you can actually deliver a full solution is necessary now versus just being able to sell them a $10,000 course.
Right. So I think, as you said, we're not in 2014 anymore, where that process has become a lot bigger, right? people like Alex Ramosi, they spent countless hours and hours producing content just for the simple fact of nurturing people. And keep in mind, he doesn't even directly sell a course, but if he would obviously make a ton of money
Yep.
because he's already nurtured his audience enough, right? And that's the key difference. Key players like that are the ones that are killing it in the game. People like myself, where I only have 500 subscribers on YouTube, yet I'm putting 60K per month, right? What does that mean? It means that there's something to it there, right? It means that people are tired of, or not even just tired. Why would they invest with people that, again, they just funnel it down somewhere and they provide just information? It's no longer time for information, right? It's not 2014 anymore. It's a combination of information, implementation, and coaching all together in one, right?
Absolutely.
And
Absolutely.
obviously the best way to give value away is going to be through content, right? So it's no longer lead magnet, but it's just a way of attracting people to your service and your solution.
Absolutely. And if I can relate this just quickly, right? When I was in the management consulting space, when I tell people I work for one of the top 3 firms in the world, it doesn't mean anything to a lot of people because they may not be familiar. But when you think about, okay, what does a company like Walmart do about the fact that Amazon is going to eat their lunch if they don't figure out how to kind of do their online distribution and really ramp up? Again, let's say a decade ago, right? They hire a management consulting firm to help them strategize, look at the numbers, look at the strategy, look at what they're going to do in the future, and walk them through the process of going from, hey, we're actually in danger, to no, we're protected because we understand how to navigate this economy in this situation. The truth is that industry used to be one in which, just like courses, they put together the information, they solved the client's problem on paper, and then they would tell the client, hey, here's the solution, go do it. What you've seen even a lot of management consulting firms do is actually start to focus on how can we help you implement the solution that we just provided. And I mean, so everybody's heard of the Fortune 500, but this is Fortune 100 businesses, like the 100 best companies in the country. Even those companies needed help with implementation. Why? Because you can drop a fancy solution on someone's desk, you can email it to them, you can send a video explaining everything, but there's still going to be some stuff that when they're trying to do the thing that you explained to them, that they have trouble with and they're going to need your help with. So when people were just selling those $10,000 courses, again, 10,000, 20, 50,000, you'd be surprised how much people were willing to pay just to get some videos without any actual help. And so let's talk just briefly about the difference between what those courses, let's say, were in the past versus what you and I provide to customers when it comes to a done with you and done for you solution. Like what do those two things mean to you? And what should the viewers take from that if they're interested in growing their businesses by learning the client acquisition systems that you and I teach?
Right. So the difference between obviously done for you slash done with you, which is the model that honestly everybody should be following, right, is because it ties in not just the information aspect, but it actually helps you implement. Because a lot of the times when you get information, right, there's information out there everywhere, right?
Yep.
Even how you implement it, right? Somebody can implement it and do great, and another person can implement it and just literally not yield any results,
Yeah.
right? But the brilliance of this is because you're implementing it for somebody, right? And then managing them and helping them and coaching them along the way,
Yeah.
when they're scaling their business, where it's not like, obviously, I guess I'm a name drop right now, but there's courses like where Iman Ghazi sells, right? Where, hey, you have a video component and it's like, here, have at it, right? Where the biggest difference with us is like, hey, we take that same capital, but we allocate it to where it's like, hey, instead of being selfish with it and just keeping and just giving you some videos, it's like, no, we're actually going to allocate that capital and helping you implement everything that we teach, right? And we're going to be one step with you along the way until you yield results from our systems.
Absolutely.
Right.
Absolutely. I mean, I'm not sure if you all that are watching are seeing this and seeing value from it, but I know that if I just rewind to where I was when I first started in business, this is what I was looking for, because there were so many people out there that said, hey, I'm successful. Hey, follow me. Hey, I have a Lamborghini. I'm going to take pictures. I'm going to take videos. It's going to look great. And if you pay me, I'll send you some videos. But what I really needed, and this was back again, I became an entrepreneur in 2016. I made my very first dollar online in 2017. But there were so many people that were just selling smoke that what I really needed, especially coming from a corporate background or whatever professional background you may be coming from, where you're smart enough, you've got skills, you're not like an idiot and you're not someone who's saying, hey, I'm going to be fooled by anything. You're smart enough to figure this stuff out. But even like I said, the top companies in the world, need someone to help them walk through the process so that they can continue the success in a way that doesn't take as much time going through the learning curve, but instead they can skip toward getting results even faster. Right. So Mario, I'll have a question for you as we shift gears just a bit. If you think about kind of where you want to take this, like what, first of all, let's talk about what it means for you to have client success, right? Because a lot of folks out here, they mention their success a lot as business owners, right? You can see a lot of folks who show you how much money they make, but what does client success mean to you, and why should viewers think about that as they look at the client acquisition process or kind of joining these types of businesses and this kind of education?
Yeah. So one of the things that I always preach is focusing on two things as a business owner, which is content, right? Getting attention for yourself, and product, right? Product is the biggest lever that you can, I would say it's probably more even important than content,
Yep.
because as Alex Hormozi says, like once you actually have someone that's, it's literally infinite return, people referring you,
Yep.
right? And having the results for other people, that's what gives you the biggest returns over time.
Yep.
Right? You coming up with a solution that is consistently more valuable the next person that you serve, obviously ties into a higher and higher ticket price, right? And a lot of people, like you said, they have a smoke screen in the front, right? No clients results to show. And then obviously at the end, obviously their ad spend gets bigger and bigger, right? They have to find more and more clients. And here specifically, like, I mean, just tie it back, you know. I don't know if you guys know, if you guys are watching this. This is an individual called Sam Walton, right? The inventor of Walmart, right? He was so, even when he was worth $1 billion, right? He was still walking into every single Walmart, talking to the customers, making sure, right? This is something that we have to take from not other agency owners. I wouldn't like to take most of my stuff from other agency owners, right? I like to look at people that are actually like extremely successful, right? And that's the sheer importance of customer success, right? Because how much you put into your customers, it's how much you're going to yield in the long run, and how much you're going to stay in, how long you're going to stay in business, right? So if you're not in it for, so right now, if you look at yourself right now and you're just worried about the next sale, I guarantee you, you'd yield more returns if you just focus, instead of making the next sale, on how you can make your clients get the next sale, right? Like, that's going to yield you more returns in the long run.
Absolutely. And so as we think about customer success, one thing I want to interject here is that I don't care if you agree with their politics or not, right? One of the companies that can demonstrate the exact concept that you were just talking about in the best way possible is Chick-fil-A. Here's why I say that. If you want to have a Chick-fil-A franchise, first of all, you can't own one, right? Essentially, you can buy membership into being able to run one of those franchises, but you cannot own it. And if you do have one of those franchises, you, as the manager of that location, have to work in the store with your employees. I think it's like 6 days a week. But why do you think that there are no other restaurants that are fast food restaurants that people talk about when they say customer service is at the highest possible level other than Chick-fil-A? It's partly because, just like you said, just like Sam Walton was walking in the stores, their particular perspective on what it means to actually have success for their customers or clients, for them to serve those clients in the highest way possible, is so vitally important to that company that actually other companies send their employees to get trained by Chick-fil-A, because they say, hey, Chick-fil-A knows how to do the client success, client service, customer service part of the business so well that we're willing to pay for them to teach us how it goes. So that part I just wanted to mention. But before we take too long for this interview, I want to actually talk about this. A lot of people get into business and they say, hey, I can make 6 figures, because honestly, if you can talk, if you can sell, you can make 6 figures. You don't even have to be that organized, right? $10,000 sales is 6 figures. That's the truth. But can you talk just quickly with the viewers about the importance of systems, right? And how the systems in your business have helped you be able to actually scale? Like, why is that important when you're running a client acquisition business?
Right. So systems, more importantly than not, one, help you with the clients, help you track, well, honestly, not even client success, they help you track absolutely everything, right? And systems, the tricky thing about systems is that people say, like, I'm going to implement them when I get to 10K per month, or when I get to, when I sign my first client, then I'll start thinking about like systemizing stuff. It's like, no, it's second, first, third order consequences, right? So you do the system, you have the systems in place, right? And when I talk systems, right, I guess I'll simplify it for people, right? Systems, it can just be simple organization of whether it be employees and simple processes like that's what you're referring to, right? Like processes to
Absolutely.
follow, right? So like
Processes, systems. Yep.
yeah, SOPs, right?
What are SOPs
Things
for the people that
basically
don't
the
know?
way standard operating
Yep.
procedures, right? So basically what your client has to do, for example, you have to have a system for onboarding. When I onboard a client, this is how I'm going to do it. Even if you're just starting out and it's a one person thing, track absolutely everything, right?
Yep.
How are you going to do it for this multiple clients? But it's very important because if not, your service isn't replicable. And if your service is replicable, then how do you know you're providing the same service? Like you now what's happening is you're providing a different service for each person that's coming in.
Yep.
Right. So
Yep.
and if you're providing a different service, then you're not providing one service. And then it's like, what the hell are you selling? And then how do you expect to scale to above 10, 50K per month? Because I promise you right now, even hitting my 60K month, the systems that people don't talk about is crazy, right? How everything looks in the back end of a 60K business.
Yep.
Right. You can't even fathom it. Right. But I can tell you firmly that it starts at 10K per month, that it starts at 5K per month.
Yep.
Right. That, hey,
Absolutely.
even if you haven't signed a client yet, you should have an understanding of how your onboarding is going to look like and how you're going to deliver for those people that come through the door. Because if you don't have that, then you don't have anything, literally. Right.
Absolutely.
You're just falling into the smoke screen fallacy again, where you don't have anything at all. Then
Absolutely.
what are you trying to sell? Right.
And more importantly, what you're going to end up with, like if you're watching this, I hope what you take away from this is that, one, it's important to get started, right? Don't get comfortable, because I don't know about you, Mario, but the six-figure corporate track is one that I've had that lifestyle before as well. And then kind of my story is a little bit different in the sense that life happened to me. I lost a sibling pretty early in life, while in kind of, like I said, one of the best jobs in the world. And what it showed me is that nothing against the institution, nothing against the company, because their job is to produce for their clients. And if I, as one of their employees, am not in a position to produce, or if I'm affected by, let's say, family loss or anything else, then like they can feel sorry, but they can't necessarily stop the show, because they're getting paid at that point a lot of money per month to be able to help very large companies fix their problems. But what I'll say is this: when you're in that I get a check every 2 weeks mode, right? You might get comfortable and think that that's job security. But the truth is that job only has to be loyal to you for the last 2 weeks of work that you did, right? And if you have a severance package, you might get 3 months of loyalty. But I have this question. If you have a bad day, or you have a family member that passes away, or something happens, God forbid, right? And you have to take a week or two off from your business. One, do you have to ask for time off?
No, I don't.
All right. And then when it comes to the paycheck, right? Can you get fired?
Never.
Okay. And then when it comes to your actual process, because you know how to get clients, are you worried about what happens if you lose a client? Like if you get fired from your job, you stop getting a paycheck. Now you actually have to go through the application process, find another job, and hopefully get hired again. Are you worried about that?
Not anymore.
Okay. So I guess what we're saying to you all is that once you understand that as a business owner, if you figure out the client acquisition process, even if you're bad at delivery, and you say, hey, I need to iterate and focus on my product more. If you can keep people coming to knock on your door so that eventually you learn how to answer it the right way, then you can continue to have a business and you can keep your life and your vision alive. But if you don't, right? If you only focus on getting that money the first time, and then you don't focus on fixing the product, you don't focus on the systems, you don't focus on learning how to actually continue to acquire clients in the new way, not just the old way, short form content, email agencies, these kind of Facebook ads agencies, not just the old way, because those are commoditized. Anybody in the world can do those, probably at a fraction of the price that you can do them for. If you don't focus on those elements and really learn how to build out a system, then you may end up back in the position where you've got to depend on a job for every 2 week paycheck. And then it's not the worst thing in the world, because every company needs employees, and the world that we live in wouldn't work unless you had employees. But if you don't just want that to be your reality, and you want something that's a little bit different so that you have a little bit more control over your life and your income, then what we're talking about tonight is not just fairy tales. You actually have real life examples of what it looks like to take the bull by the horns, make a choice, take a chance, and then actually make something happen. So Mario, like, is there anything else? Are there any last words that you would leave with the viewers tonight that you want to just make sure that you share with them and that they don't miss it? They take nothing else from this interview. What would you like to share with them?
The main thing that I would like to share with them, especially if there's someone that were in our shoes, right, is that again, there's like you said, right, there's nothing like building a business and doing it all on their own, right? Why? Because at the end of the day, you have nothing else to show if you're not focusing on something that you're building long term,
Yeah.
right? What else, right? What else do you have, right? So, I guess the only thing I can relate to it is don't hesitate, act, right? Because there's so much more that you're not seeing right now. But if you're confident in yourself enough to take that leap, I promise you, it's 110% worth it. And not only you're not even going to thank yourself. I think the most important part is that your loved ones are going to thank you for it as well.
Absolutely, man.
Right.
That's, I can't say anything better than that. We already talked about my story. The fact that that happened with myself, with me and my family, it taught me that there was no one that I knew that could buy time that would allow us to heal. And I never wanted to be in that position again. And I never wanted the people that I loved or cared about to be in that position again. So because we're so dedicated to this cause, I don't think we'll ever stop. But I definitely wanted to take just this few moments to thank you for spending your time. Obviously, you're running a business. You've got teams, you've got systems, you've got people to make sure that they're taken care of. But you took time just to explain what your journey has been like so that people can see that it's real, and they can continue to learn from your channel. They can continue to learn from mine. But whatever you do, please don't watch this video and do nothing, because the worst thing to be and the worst thing to do is wake up 5 or 10 years from now and say, hey, I had the opportunity, I had the information, I had the energy, I had the access, but I didn't take any action. So go ahead, look, if you want to see more information, go ahead and subscribe to my page. Go ahead and subscribe to Mario's page. I'll make sure to link it in the description. But more importantly than anything, I want you to take time to look at yourself in the mirror and ask yourself, what are you going to do? Because right now, you have everything that you need. I look forward to talking to you all soon. Thanks, Mario. This has been great. And look forward to doing it next time.
For sure. We will.
All right. Take care.
Okay.